First thing is to tin the PCB pads for LED power. The PCB for the LED comes in a frame. You can break one off, and I trimmed the edge just to make it flat, and it can be slid into the jig. First, I put on flux. It's not necessary to have it all over the place, just wet with the flux. Then we can apply solder to it. It's important to not put a huge amount. If there's too much, you can clean it up with desoldering braid. And spread the solder over the gold-plated pads. Just ensure that the LED and the PCB are clean and there's no gunk or burnt stuff. You can slide the PCB and put your LED over the PCB and place the spring steel flap with the hole in it onto the silicone bump that's on the LED. By pushing pressure on it and having it secure, you can apply heat to the pads and fuse the LED to the PCB. So I touch the pads 5 seconds. We can test the LED with the multimeter because the continuity test passes a small amount of current, and that current is enough to light up the LED. The positive has to be on the side of the hole on the PCB. Okay, so we can see it's not very strong, so it's soldered but not as much as it should, so I'm going to add a little bit of solder. See, now it's bright. So the LED wire is 29 gauge insulated wire, and I cut lengths of 27 millimeters. So I'm going to remove about millimeters of insulation at the tip. The red lead wire is for the positive end of the LED, and the black is for the ground. And you tin the end of the wire. Can solder the LED wire to the PCB. It's important to have the polarity right because LEDs only conduct in one direction. You want to convince yourself that the LED is the joint is strong, is mechanically robust. I pin down the LED on a foam board so that it's not moving around. Here what's important is that the red wire goes to the positive pad, which is indicated as such on the PCB. So if you hold it In this orientation, it means that the two wires have to be crossed. And I'm verifying that the joint is mechanically strong. So now we can test by connecting to the DAC. So let's see if we can control the intensity of the LED with the Miniscope controller software. So I'm going to protect the solder joint from the excitation LED to the CMOS PCB by putting in UV glue. So the UV glue is not a thermoplastic, it's a thermoset. If you hit it, it doesn't melt like a plastic, it'll crack and crumble. So you can free the soldering joint if you need to repair it. Well, epoxy is a thermoset as well, but epoxy is way too strong. So if you try to remove the epoxy from there, you will damage the PCB.